Hi all, this is Dr. Sage Breslin. Today we're talking about toxic narcissism and how it affects men. We have been kind of on that subject. Normally, my niche is working with women, but there has been such a response from you men that I really felt like you deserved another video. So recently I saw a video about a therapist who was trying to assist a young man who was wondering, how do I get over this kind of relationship? How do I stop believing that she's in love with me? How do I exit? And it's a great question for men and women alike. How do you disentangle yourself from a narcissist or somebody with low functioning borderline or a sociopath? And it feels like the answer should be very simple. It feels like, just walk away. But that is so much more difficult than you'd actually think. So this is kind of where I would go in terms of a practical intervention, guys. First, make a list. Make a list of all of the horrible things that you've experienced while in this relationship. Then, once you've done with that list, make a list of all the wonderful things that have happened in this relationship. And on the list with the wonderful things, I want you to review them and determine how many of those things occurred right in the beginning of the relationship. And ask yourself if those things were freely experienced or given, or if perhaps they were part of a larger manipulation to hook you. So when you've finished that process, take a look to see how many really horrible things have you experienced versus how many very lovely things have you experienced, not as manipulation. And just evaluate, what do the lists look like? Because what we want to do is ground you in reality, right? We want for you to be free of the narcissist's reality and step back into your own. And stepping back into your own means getting down to brass tacks, really determining how much of this is real versus how much is imagined or fantasy. And the narcissist depends on your embracing the fantasy, the delusion that everything that the narcissist feeds you is real, when in fact we know most of it is manipulation, unfortunately. So once you've gotten through your lists and once you've kind of determined what's real versus what's imagined, then it's time to ground in your own reality. And if you can, just get with friends who remember who you were before that person, that toxic person. Look at pictures. Even consider the things that you hear from the narcissist when you're being gaslit. You're too much, you're not enough, you don't make enough money, you aren't in the right circles, whatever the lines are, right? Whatever, you're the problem. You're the one who needs therapy, not me. So listen to that gaslighting in your head and ask yourself, have you actually done something to deserve that? And I want you to be really, really hold yourself to the fire here. Is it possible that you have done something? Now, I'm going to tell you, most of the time, if you go on up to 30,000 feet and you get the narcissist voice out of your head and you look back down at what you're being told that you are, or you've done, or you haven't done, you're going to find out that none of those things are true because there is no reality attached to them. Most of us who get into these relationships, we're old souls. We're looking to help, heal, uplift the other person. And sometimes to our detriment, unfortunately, we give, and give until we're gone. And so if you look from that 30,000 foot perspective and you take her or his voice away and you really evaluate the gaslighting, the words that are being sent at you, the verbal rockets being sent your way, my guess is that most of the time there's nothing that you've done or been or haven't done to deserve the treatment that you're experiencing. And that's how we ground in reality. Once you determine really there's nothing, you didn't poke her in the eye, you didn't slap him across the face, you showed up, you were loving, kind, and compassionate as much as you can be, you were yourself, and if that wasn't a fit, then it's time to exit. So this is Dr. Sage Breslin. If you need help with any of that, give me a shout.